Friends of during the Scotch piece of music stage include speak of the clean pleasure Scott Hutchison driven to their lives, and the effect his piece of music had on his fans. Scott, who had talked publicly on his psychological public health and depressive, had spelled a chirp deceased on Tuesday proverb "I'm off currently." His friends say his heritage will dwell on in his piece of music, that helping so lot transactions in their own struggles. Roddy told how while they at first welcomed, Scott had said him how same d grown up auditory to Idlewild. But Roddy was blown up off while he begun auditory to Scared Bunny. He told, Scared Bunny's piece of music is nice. Scott was an very gifted lyricist since he could do a connect in his auditorium. He's not thing all can do. While you compose lyric how do feeling, are fair and of yours cardiac later some human beings can know them. Songs can include such a big effect, particularly if they hit you at the order period in lifetime. Scared Bunny include been about for 15 year currently, so they will include been the phonogram to several human beings as lives. A general grew up auditory to them. If you were 15 while you got in them, you are 30 currently, and how's an essential and powerful proportion of yours lifetime thou recall how type of piece of music for the otherwise of yours lifetime. It's piece of music intended so lot to human beings, and he's sad how he thick felt how one while he was enclosed by so lot human beings who favorite him. Scott had speak publicly on his psychological public health and his fight in depressive. He talked on it in chant lyric, and occasionally in interviews. In an interviewing recent year, he told, occasionally I desire I had a superior regime of communicating for while I'm sense suppressed, concerned, any of such things, but it tends to fair job himself out in a chant how's the way he's ever been for me. Roddy told he had never seen a dark in Scott. Thou could see in his eyes down there was thing departure on, and apparently via his piece of music and lyric you could listen he told. Yet my expertise of him was one of clean joy, he was a joy to expend period in one day we got to aware every sum we suspended about social. One of the recent times I saw him was at the World Volume Fest in Edinburgh recent year. Subsequently we went out to Optimo. Roddy told he knew Scott as a sociable boy. He added, he seemed to loving how socializing, the creature in human beings he's awfully sad and I am desolate. I fair donged wish to trust it. I knew how Scott struggled in psychological public health issues and depressive but I fair didn't believe it would go to the Wireless Scotland DJ Vic Galloway became friends in Scott following he begun game Scared Bunny on his Shaw. He told, I deliberate Scott a boyfriend, not fair someone I act on the wireless. I include been game Scott on the wireless for more than rather than a 10 years, perhaps with on 2006. I defend new piece of music and am ever on the search for thing exciting. Later on came Scared Bunny. I begun game their material and showing them dwell in meeting and as a outcome I got to aware him. He was a downward to land, fun, direct striker kind of guy that is why I can't very get my chief about all of the. He was an emotion guy, you can speak by the lyric of all of his songs, order of the start all the way to the master system scrapbook. He added, he wore his cardiac on his hose and I could speak while I was suspended out in him how he deliberate which he was proverb all the period. Scott was an smart person, he verified oneself the entire period. I tended to see him while he was out and on at gigs or parties, and he was on nice shape. He was a big boy, but I never mind it would go to the excess. He was ever merry while I saw him. He might include been cynic on lifetime but he was ever amusing at it. The is apparently domestic anxiety and the fight he was departure via has shown himself in his actions. It was a party how I didn't see individually really frequently. Vic added, its songs dealt in emotional pain, psychological public health, and the day-to-day anxiety and discord how human beings go via. How's why it associated in human beings. He sing of his cardiac, he sing of the lower of his lungs, he very gave it all he could on phase and on recording. Scott's fleeting will be lamented in Scotland and through the planet. This acute descriptions of the country of his own cardiac and his own vulnerabilities, such songs will resound in human beings for year to go. Isabella Goldie, CEO of Growth at the Psychological Public Health Basis Scotland, met Scott while he helping campaigning in the Mercy for How period. He ran piece of music events, manufactured a CD and treated in a little piece of music coaching Mercy to assist human beings affliction psychological public health issues to contribute their piece of music. She told he was a lavish and type man, and anything was too lot to ask of him. Isabella added, while I at first treated in Scott on 10 year back, he was very lucky and upbeat, yet above the year it begun to be evident how his moods had be a main question for him. We were all worried and did achieve out to Scott, but he's very hard for men to say out and take how assist. We include once created a community in that it is very hard for men to go striker and say how they sense. Apparently he had his own demons and struggles, and it is for sad how he couldn't supervise such.